It's the winter of 1712, and this now is video 59, I believe. I'm losing track of time here now. Over in Mexico. If you remember, we took this a couple of turns ago. We've always been keen on getting Guatemala. If you remember, there was a big sort of dilemma at one stage. Do I go for Cuba, Guatemala, Mexico, whatever? We went for Mexico. It's paid off very well. It's very lucrative. I think I can take a few troops out of there, so I'm going to take 3 out and put them on this fleet that brought the troops in the first place to Mexico. You can still see the British fleet in the background there. I think they were intending attacking Mexico. They landed on the shore like me and got a big attack like we did as well. And then we beat them to the race, basically, to Mexico. Anyway, putting a few troops on there. One that I've recently raised as well within Mexico. I've got a bit more variety now within my forces over in the Americas, much more than I have, unfortunately, in Europe. Going to take a couple of moves to bring that round, I'm afraid. There's no port for me to land them in either, nothing at all. You can see there, the Guatemalan port hasn't even been built. There's a road leading down to it, and that sort of little jetty type thing there means that that's where there is eventually going to be a port. So that's why I expect in the future I'll be building mine. This is Cuba. Quick look over to Cuba. I should say this is done on hard with the latest modifications. I'm recording these, well, this particular lot here on the 19th of November 2009. They were played this morning, in fact, these scenes. I'm loading them up at the end of the day. Sometimes it takes me more than a day to edit and get them on, but it's just to give you an idea of where we're up to in terms of updates. Always checking the income level and the taxation levels. Sometimes I've edited those, sometimes I will edit those out, sometimes I'll leave them in. Trinidad and Tobago seems to be the greatest offender. I can't put anybody else's taxes up because Trinidad and Tobago aren't very happy, and there's not a great deal of money that comes from Trinidad and Tobago anyway, so I'll just zero those out. That's not a problem. Right, check on the ministers. See if there's anybody I can boot out to get something better. Sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't. Sometimes I actually get worse. It's very rare though. Usually you get the same. I'd say 1 in 5 you get better, and about 1 in 10, my experience is, you'll get worse. Okay, here we are back in Europe. And I'm not too sure exactly what I was doing in Europe there. Just checking on the dispositions of the other forces, the French forces. Over in Ceylon. Now, this is my building Ceylon time now. I've left it very much, I've described it on videos previously as the Cinderella part of the empire, if you like, you can call it an empire. I'm now going to turn some attention to it, leaving such a weak but lucrative area so close to the Marathas, and the Marathas seem to be doing very well now. If you look at the overall map, you'll see that they've taken virtually the whole of India. I'm bound to be next, and I can't afford really to go to war with the Marathas. They give me an income of about 2,000 every turn, nearly 2,000 from trade. To go to war with them would cost me money to go to war with them, and also lose a lot of money in trade. I'm still not really in a strong enough position in Europe to sustain that, you know, so anyway, I'm going to start putting some buildings in there now in Ceylon. I always go for fortresses, as you know. It's very important to me, because, well, you've seen how I defend fortresses. I can defend them very, very well, and with the more recent updates they become even easier to defend. Just fading out there the usual, where I go into a building several times to destroy it. Doing the same here with this one. Faded straight over to this side of France. Yeah, so I'll do the same here as well. Now, you might remember that I've got another force in France now as well, a small unit in France as well that's helping me to damage even more buildings. So I'm hoping that they are a massive economy, of course, the French, but I'm hoping by providing that fortress I can fend them off militarily, and I'm hoping also that I can keep their economy low, sometimes making some money out of their ships, while I can grow my own economy and grow my own armies. occasionally I'll look into increasing the number of troops in various units. Now I'm starting to think a little bit more offensively in Europe, starting to think about where we go from here in Europe. We're a long way off doing anything with France yet, I'm afraid. We really are. Just check again the taxation levels. This is for the whole theatre, so everything you see in the map above there, that's the taxation levels that it's controlling when you go up and down. It's not just that particular town or area that you're looking at. I'm particularly keen on the military syllabus that I was looking at there, because it means that I can go for the socket bayonet. It's my favourite weapon probably in this game, the most useful and favourite weapon. Also I can get some better troops as well, because I can increase the barracks, but as you know at the moment I have a bit of a problem with that, because I don't seem to have enough finances available. I'm trying to cover 3 separate areas. I know the Americas are building up now and looking a bit more substantial, but generally you start, as the Dutch, with 3 very small areas spread out right across the globe with powerful neighbours. So in America, it's in the Americas rather, it's the Spanish, who are big and dangerous. In Europe, it's the French, who are big and dangerous, amongst others, of course. And in India, it's the Marathas, who are big and also dangerous. So you have to be able to cope with 3 powerful enemies, or potential enemies, all at once. Luckily in Ceylon they seem to have been leaving me alone, which is great news. I've played on that. I thought, well, I'll keep one weak while I strengthen the others. A bit like having a weak flank while you have a strong one, so you can win on one side and then roll down the army from that flank. You can't be strong everywhere. Well, that's my overall campaign tactic anyway. Whether it works or not, we shall see, because I really am playing this as I record it. So that's the end of turn. Usual drill, I'll just show the relevant nations. The British go first, of course, then the French, then we get the Austrians, and then we get the Spanish. See, the British are at war with the Marathas, which is great for me, because they'll have been keeping the Marathas at bay. They've been a great ally for me, the British. They really have, in lots of ways. Absorbing that attack from the Mexicans, for instance, is just one of the many examples. There's loads of naval actions that they've involved in. There you go, there's one against the Spanish. Whether they're successful or not, they're taking resources away from the enemy. There you go. Now the Spanish there were blockading that trade route, which will have blockaded the British one, I should say, at this period. I nearly said the English then. That all went with the Stuarts, I'm afraid. Well, I say I'm afraid. I must point out that we became Britain, so it is important that we call this Britain now. Or that I remember to call it Britain. Okay, so we're coming to the end of the British turn. Then we get the French turn. I think you can probably guess what's going to happen in the French turn now. It happens all the time. They get absolutely decimated. They've got no troops left whatsoever, and then they exit Paris completely to throw themselves on the rocks of my fortress yet again. So here we go, starting a new battle. I'm going to show this one. I had one that was I had a problem with that I couldn't show. So I'm going to show this one. It's a bit foggy, I'm afraid, unfortunately, so the quality doesn't look that good. It's meant to be foggy, of course. I think it clears up later. Just to give you an idea what we're going to do, you'll see there's loads and loads of artillery in this one, so you just know he's going to batter down the walls. There's no point in putting your men on the walls. He'll simply batter down the walls and your men will just die while the walls crumble underneath them, so it's useless. So I put one on the walls just in case he attacks anywhere where there's no artillery, so I can fend them off, and I put the rest in the middle. The idea is I want to find out where they're going to be coming through, where they're going to be coming over the walls and down those steps, or which gate they're going to be coming through. Then I can form my nice semicircle to meet them with the maximum amount of fire, and then charge them. I've got some horse in there now, so I ought to be able to chase them away with the horse as well, and maximise the number of casualties that I can cause on them. Okay, approaching the end of this video now. The battle will be continued on the next video.